The Flash 790, Jeremy Adams writing with Roger Cruz on the art. Seems like Matt liked the issue given the noise it's made.
Yes, I had to do the Tim hand rub. It's because I really enjoyed this. Feels like classic Flash in the best way. So
well, this is the first part of the 1 minute war, and it sets up that this is a full Flash family story. We get numerous Flashes and Speedsters. To basically sum up what the premise of this is that there's this alien race that are invading Earth, and the way that they take over planets, which they sort of tease at the start, and we find out through the issue, is that they're big ship, they're big. It's not quite penis shaped, but like that second page, very phallic looking to me, with it coming towards Earth. But as that's arriving on Earth, the way that they conquer worlds is that they slow down time, and everyone kind of effectively freezes in time. However, what they're perhaps not expecting here, what their sister's kind of getting at, is that all of the speedsters in the Flash family are unaffected by it. They all, because they can move, it's super quick.
Because the Speed Force.
Yeah, or just maybe it's just a connection to the Speed Force. They all don't freeze. So a lot of this first issue of this story, there's a little bit set up, there's like a barbecue or whatever with Wally's family and Animal Man's family, so we get that kind of going, plus there's some Titans in the background. But by and large, this is us going around where each of our speedsters are. So you get Wally, Barry, Wallace, Bart,
Max Mercury's in there.
Max, Jesse, the whole shebang. We go around all of them, and it's where they all are and who they're around when the people around them start to freeze. So it does this job of feeling like like the ship arriving. It's very like Independence Day almost, where we're going around seeing how everyone's seeing like this thing arrive in the sky. Yeah. But it's having this effect on the world. So all the speedsters are like, wait, why is everyone stopped moving? What's wrong? And then when the ship actually lands in the water, there's actual destruction and devastation, and we get a cliffhanger at the end where Iris might be hurt. I don't think she's dead, but
I don't think she's dead, but I mean,
Barry's letting out a no as if she is.
Yeah. Was not expecting that. I did love seeing Jesse Quick in Our Man, right? Which I would love that there's a spin that Our Man can also be part of this because of his 1 hour power, right? Because in a 1 second war where time is split down, man, he's just as effective as the Flash would be, you would think. But it might just be he's here because he's married to Jesse, and they were taking care of stuff together. But yeah, seeing Jesse Quick on here being included as part of the Flash family is always nice. But yeah, I just like the whole dynamics between everybody. We get stuff between Kid Flash and Impulse, where he's talking about, he's like, oh, so you're taking to the Kid Flash name now, huh? And they kind of start bickering in the only way that Bart can get out of people.
Well, yeah, because Wallace is about to take on some bad guys, and Bart rushes in and does it first and accuses Wallace of being jealous, or vice versa. But there's they're bickering about who's better and stuff like that. There's stuff with the Iris and Barry where it looks like Iris is about to propose to Barry. She's sort of talking about how the relationship needs to have a future, and she whips out what looks to be an engagement ring, and then that's right when the time freezes. And it's done in some fun little ways where you're seeing like people not moving in the background, dropping glasses of water or whatever to the floor.
They're frozen.
There's like a fly in front of his face that just sort of stays there still. And then obviously the destruction happens and he has to try and save Iris because there's a shockwave. So all around you see all the speedsters like try to save the people that are closest to them and all that stuff. I think what I like about this premise is that it's a premise that inherently makes that so that it can just be the Flashes that are involved. Like, immediately there's no question as, okay, so why aren't the rest of the Justice League getting involved? If this alien species is landing a ship in a very public place and they're trying to take over the world, well, because they can. Literally, the speedsters are the only ones who can operate it quick enough to actually deal with this. And given that it's called the 1 minute war, it's effectively all going to take place over the space of a minute in real time. Obviously, for the Flashes, it's much longer than that. But to the rest of the world, it's only a minute.
They're not aware, So like the Supermans and the Batmans and the Wonder Womans aren't aware this is even happening yet. And even if they were, it's the 1 minute war, right? it's going to take them, even Superman, more than a minute to respond, you would think. So, yeah, I like how that's baked in, that this is a Flash family event.
I just think conceptually it's really strong. Like, it felt like a really good strong premise just from this first issue. To just give them something that's unique to them that only they can solve, and not so much that the villain that we get a glimpse of seems that interesting on his own, but I think just the gimmick of how they actually try to attack should make this a pretty memorable threat for the Flash family. So,
well, and it helps that it's not somebody like the Dominators, people that we've seen before either. You know, that it is a seemingly new group, and they launched like almost like this arrow into the earth and then set up this wall. And the fact that this leader of this invasion is like begin the culling, man, it makes it pretty dark too, which is a nice counter to the Flash, which is, you know, Flash books tend to be a bit lighter, you know, so I do like that dynamic at play here. But yeah, no, Adams really knows how to use the Flash family effectively. I really do feel like it's become, you know, not just Wally's family, but the entire Flash family. And I appreciate that.
Well, there's only one issue of that so far, really.
Right, but this could have just been Wally's, you know what I mean? Like, but the fact that we've gotten him and Wallace throughout Adam's run, you know, it just, I feel like he is writing this with the Flash family in
There's been
mind.
Sprinklings of the other Flash family members throughout the run, but I would say this is the first issue where it feels like it's actually trying to bring them all together. But certainly it's been Wally's family's book, and it has been that since the start. So showing them all together, which really does beg the question, because I'm not sure if they actually... Because I don't think we go back to them in the book, do we? Like, because we start with them, so we don't get much of what actually happens once everything freezes with them. We get kind of just them looking up into the sky and seeing that something's coming, and then we go to all the other family members around different places for the actual more, you know, sizable things that are about to happen. Yeah. So we don't actually get a solid answer if, say, okay, is Iris frozen because she technically has speed powers right now? We don't know.
Not Iris, Linda.
Linda, sorry, not Iris. Yeah, you're right. I'm mixing the spouses up. And then the kids. Well, it makes sense that Irie probably isn't frozen, but maybe her brother is, because he doesn't have speed powers.
It's not exactly. Yeah. His powers aren't exactly Speed Force based, or you know. So, you know, so because it seems like people that can touch the Speed Force are the ones that are you know, not bothered by this.
But it's especially notable to me that we don't get a hint of how what happens to them. I mean, it starts with them because this is Wally's book first and foremost, and you've got this big happy occasion with people celebrating, which again is a nice sort of you know, like, so when the bad stuff happens, it feels like, oh, we just, you know, it's rating 101 is like, if people are too happy, it means something bad's about to happen, because you're going to feel feel the gut punch of it even more. So. I think that's smart from a rating perspective, but it is very interesting that we don't really get, you know, because we cut back to the others. Like, you know, we introduce Jessie and then we come back to her when the actual ship arrives. You know, we go back to Wallace and Bart, even though we've already introduced them, whereas we never go back to that barbecue scene. I don't think we do. I'm skimming through the book now.
On the page where we see Jessie and Bart and Wallace, Wally's running over to the kids and just says kids.
Oh, sorry, we get one panel.
That's the last, but that's it.
Yeah, we get one panel of them running towards the kids. Okay.
Yep. And then you have Barry getting thrown through a window. You have Jessie trying to, you know, respond to some rubble that's being thrown, and then she gets knocked back. And then you have Bart and Wallace.
Yeah, that wasn't Barry. That was Jay getting thrown through a window.
Oh, that is Jay getting thrown through a window. I got thrown off because of the blonde.
Yeah, that's him in the bar, yeah.
That's right.
So, yeah. Yeah, really strong issue. My only real critique, I think the art is solid, but I was a little disappointed that it was a different artist, because I preferred the regular artist.
Pensika.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Roger Cruz. I just feel like some of the facial proportions are a little bit off sometimes, like especially at that barbecue in the beginning. And then the page right before, it's on the page, the moment right before it looks like Iris is going to propose, Barry's face looks a little bit weird. Like the proportions seem off. You know, they're just little nitpicks, though. I mean, the art, it has a fluidity to it that I always love in a Flash book. And like when we get that Max Mercury scene, it looks really great. Just like the breakdowns there. So, but yeah, the art's fine. Not my favorite though. Definitely, Roger Cruz isn't setting my world on fire.
Yeah, I definitely preferred the regular art, so it was a little disappointing. Even though this story feels like it's probably the biggest story of the run so far, it feels like an event within the run, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a turning point in the run. So I'm glad it feels big because I've enjoyed this book all throughout this run, from sort of good to sometimes bordering on great degrees. And I kind of like that this feels like it's elevating it a little bit, and it feels like we're actually hitting like a real stride and like a real big Flash story, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is actually shipping twice a month while this arc is on.
Yep.
So we'll have anotry issue relatively soon.
No, next week. I already peeked.
Yeah, that makes me think this one got delayed a week, and that's why there's two back to back. Because from a scheduling perspective, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
To have them back to back. So. Although weirder things have happened in comics. Yeah, no, it was an exciting read. It feels like honestly, comparing this to Planet Alpha, this feels like a much better event, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just a story within the Flash book, which is nice because it just feels like a big pivotal story in a longer ongoing run, as opposed to, we're doing all this wacky shit to make it feel big. This just feels big in and of its own world and of its own context, which
it feels more contained.
Which feels more important to me. It feels more impressive. Or let's just say that it feels more impactful to me to do it that way. So, all right, what are you giving Flash 790?
I'm gonna give this an 8.
I'll go the 8.5. I'm feeling quite happy about it.